Welcome to the Pitchworks Podcast. I'm Scott McTaggart. Over the last 20 years, I've been a sales rep, a marketer, a manager, an executive, a consultant, and an advisor. This show is designed to give you access to my list of contacts so that you can learn more about how to present your ideas at work and succeed in your career.
Startups and salespeople, marketers and managers from the Epicast Network in Pittsburgh. It's the Pitchworks Podcast.
And so I feel like if all these people are rooting for me and I have these clients, like my biggest fear is like not succeeding and letting people down.
Good morrow there, pitch workers. It's Scott. Welcome back. Glad to have you talking about how to present your ideas at work. This week we've got an old friend back. It's Crystal Nerschel, who got the entrepreneurial bug the last time she rolled through the studio, and she's back here to tell us all about it. She's only a couple weeks in, and she's going to tell us about how she's decided to go out on her own and some of the things that she's working on, including apparently she nailed a major television network as a client. It's pretty cool. Before we jump in, as you know, a couple things we always try to get out of the way. First thing is, this is your last chance on the Getting Started in Sales seminar that we're doing locally in Pittsburgh, up in Cranberry. Getting Started in Sales can help you jump into this career, help you figure out, how this all works, how the money gets made, how do you still, feel good about it, do it right, do it the ethical way. Check out pitchworks.com. All the details are there. You'll be able to link directly to the Eventbrite, buy the tickets direct for Saturday morning, May 20th. Then the next thing we should probably get on to is that Pitchworks experience. It's the social media. It's the website. It's always PITCHWERKS. Always looking for your feedback. And the best kind of feedback that you can give us, obviously, is 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, whatever it is that you think we deserve. Get in there. iTunes is what most of you use. And say, this is what I think this show is doing, and this is where I think it can improve. Any type of feedback is good for us. It helps people to find the show as well. So that's what we got going on. Going to talk to Crystal here. Thanks so much for tuning in. As always, here comes our interview. Crystal Nerschel, what are you doing back in here?
I am back in here because recently I started my own firm. And
No. What happened to the other gig? What happened?
I left the company.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it was just, I think it was time.
Did we infect you with the entrepreneurial bug?
A little bit, yeah.
Damn it.
It was time, so I think,
I'm sorry.
It's been a good thing.
I'm really sorry.
I like being bitten by the bug. It's a good bug.
Yeah, well, it's good because, those are the cards you're holding, right? It's like you already made the move.
Yeah.
All right, so now you're out and you're out on your own. What are we calling the company?
So actually, that's a good question because I have been sitting around day after day trying to decide what the heck to call my company, and I have no idea.
So for right now, it's Make Your Checks Out to Crystal Nerschel, yeah?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I really like Sharp Tongue Creative. I don't know if you have any feelings about that.
I do. Nobody can spell the word tongue.
Okay. Yeah. I was also going to say Quail Media, but nobody can spell quail.
Well, Dan Quayle couldn't spell either, so that's weird.
Yeah. So I've been trying to think of odd names, but everyone's taken too. So it makes me a little sad.
No, we can figure it out. So yeah, I heard that the story had changed. We had to update everybody, and why not just do a workshop with you and figure these questions out? So the name's a great place to start, right?
Yes.
So yeah, quail. I'm assuming you're talking like the bird.
Yes, like the bird.
That actually people can spell.
Really?
Well, yeah.
I have a hard time spelling quail sometimes.
I'm hoping they can spell it, right? I don't know. I don't think I'm feeling it. Right?
Yeah.
So what are you going to consult on? Let's start with what's the core concept?
So I'm going to be doing digital sales, so digital media buying. So whether that's Facebook buying, Google Analytics and whatnot, all of that stuff online. And then I'll also do graphic design, so creative direction for flyers, direct mail, that sort of thing, and logo design.
Yeah.
So I will also work with a graphic designer to do that sort of work. But
that's a big expansion from what we talked about. What was that? 3-4 months ago you were on, and we were just talking about video back then, right?
Yeah.
Or do I remember that wrong?
Yes, we were. And so video will be the bread and butter of what I'm doing right now. That's my main thing that I really want to focus on, but I love the other stuff enough, and I think that I've had enough experience doing creative direction that I'd like to offer those as well.
Okay, so it's just you and Anybody else?
Just me. I work
Okay.
with an amazing graphic designer. She's recently out of the Art Institute, but she won an Addy this year for her work, which
Wow.
is huge for a college kid.
Yeah.
So she's excellent. So I've been working with her on some of the graphic design.
Don't call her a kid.
I got to help my other females out, girl power.
You keep digging, you might get out of that hole, right? So, you've got this award-winning graphic designer, and it's you, and it's a pretty diverse set of services that you're trying to offer compared to just the video side.
Yes.
Are you going to keep your hands on with the production and video?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, 110%.
Yeah.
That's my thing. You know what I mean? So that is where I would consider myself an expert.
Right.
That is the real thing that I want to, help folks with.
I like the fact that you're using the word expert. If you're an expert on something, you can bring value that necessitates you being your own brand, your own pitch, your own product. If, on the other hand, you just don't like having a boss, this is not a good game to play, right?
Yeah.
So I'm happy that you're still going to focus on the video, and I was actually hoping that that you were going to say that, because if you were moving away from the video, first of all, we can see the trend.
Yeah.
The video trend continues.
It's huge. Yeah.
It's monstrous, and even the still image services, right? Your Instagrams and Snapchats or whatever are really driven in large part by the video content as opposed to the still content. So
Totally.
really glad you're sticking with that. So real quick, let's enumerate that again. So there's a Facebook component, or is it just any type of social media ads?
Any type of social media ads. So I can do anything from run somebody's social media page. So like providing them with a calendar of social media posts, giving them, consulting with them on the content they should be posting, what sort of videos, graphic ads they should be running to drive traffic to their page.
And you're going to do that, or is that something that you're basically going to develop the process for intake, and then you're going to have somebody else actually do that?
I'm going to do it right now. I
Okay.
think that, it's just me and this company, and I want to provide people with the absolute most kick-ass service.
That's going to exhaust you. You know it is, right?
I know it is, but I feel currently too, I've been taking a lot of clients that I'm really passionate about what they're doing. And so my thing is, if somebody doesn't want to work with me or doesn't understand my vision, or, I don't fully get theirs,
Yeah.
I really think it's important for both of us to step back and say, like, money's great, right? But like, I'm at the point where I want to create some really like portfolio-esque work that I can show future clients and bring more clients in.
This is what gave you the bug.
Yeah.
You wanted the energy back.
I'm so excited about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I haven't felt that way in a long time.
Well, sometimes it's difficult in the artistic trade, right? When there's still a corporate structure. You still have to pay the bills. You still have, like just sort of like there's a form that needs to be filled out, and there's timesheets that need to be done, right? There's conference meetings that don't really need your attendance, but you have to be in the conference room anyway.
Yeah.
Like I get it, right? And you have no overhead right now because, you haven't even figured out where you're going to trade out of yet. And, this is all very exciting, right? My strong advice is going to be, though, write the process.
Yeah.
Write the process for how somebody's going to take your place in the stuff that you don't necessarily feel like is your identity, right? I seriously think, and I'm amazed at how difficult people think social media is, right? Maybe it's that I'm surrounded by the right people. The Epicast folks are good at social media. I've got, good contacts and friends that are social media marketers. There's a lot of people who need help with it. So I understand why you're digging where you're digging. I'm just afraid, like you're going to get tired.
I feel that too. I definitely have that concern in the back of my head. So
Yeah.
I've been grooming, some of the younger folks that I've had around me for a while now in the ad industry, and kind of hoping and praying that I get to that point where I can even bring one of them on as even a part-time or, a full-timer with me.
Great feeling when you can pull that off. Yeah. Let me tell you something. That is one of the few times when you honestly no one can take it away from you. That's an accomplishment no one can take away, is when you finally built your business to the point where you actually have an employee that is a legit non-1099, non-subcontractor, like nothing but just every week your check comes from me.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I don't know how to describe the feeling, but there's nothing like it. So the Facebook piece, the social media, we'll broaden it up to, you've got a social media calendar, you've got a social media sort of editorial calendar, and you're going to do the content. You're going to do those kinds of things in the scheduling. And you said you're going to make buys, right? You're going to make advertising buys.
So like digital buys. So whether that is through like a Facebook or a LinkedIn or even through like a Google AdWords, doing that sort of work. And then I have a very close connection who can do TV buys for me at a really good price.
Yep.
So if I had anybody, that I was doing a really great commercial for, I would highly advise for them, just depending on who they're marketing to, do even a small TV buy, I think would be, good for a lot of industries.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me now, what are we, week in, 2 weeks in now? I mean, it's pretty short.
2 weeks in. Yeah.
Okay. So what right now is the going pitch? What is it? Like, what do you, when you're talking to people, like, because you told me you've actually landed a couple customers already.
I have 3 clients already, which is surprising.
Way to go.
And awesome.
Way to go.
Yeah.
So what's the pitch now?
So the new pitch for me is, hey, I started my own agency. It's small, but it's kick-ass, and I'll work my butt off for you. Yeah. I'm the type of person, a lot of these folks that I go out and meet with are older folks that don't understand social media. They don't know how to reach millennials. They don't know where to look for them and where they're looking for things.
Okay.
And that is something I pride myself on being more of a specialist in, mostly because I am a millennial, and I've marketed to millennials a whole lot in my career.
Yeah.
So a lot of these folks just don't have any idea, and I like to, market myself to them as I will help you reach those millennials that you are so desperately looking for.
Are they?
Yeah.
I've heard both sides. Yeah. I've heard some people that say that there's a lot of money in that market. There are a lot of disposable incomes in that millennial space where they have good jobs early, right? And I've heard the other also, which is that a lot of them are having a hard time getting employment, and I'm not sure which one's true. Maybe they can both be true in the same space. I'm not sure, but I'm glad to hear that you're finding them to be, sufficiently employed and paid and whatnot that people actually want to market to them. You don't want anybody to get left behind. And I mean, we've talked about this before on the show. It's like they always get a bad rap. The older generations love to kick dirt on the younger generations. It's not hard. It's not particularly insightful, but it does happen.
Yeah.
So you're pitching them essentially on access to younger generations that they don't understand and the technologies that those younger generations
are using,
have a preference for, right? And then that really does kind of perfectly dovetail you into video then, doesn't it?
Exactly. And, I think it really helps me compete as well with a lot of other smaller agencies out there that maybe don't, specialize in video or more of the digital space. It gives me the opportunity to kind of come in and say, hey, I can help you market to these people. A lot of people, I tell them, hey, $3-4 grand for a video. And they're like, oh my gosh, that's so much. And then I see them, they go and film themselves on their laptops or whatever, and it looks like crap. And, if you would pay even $1-2 grand, I could give you a better video, pretty basic video, but a better video than that. And it's going to affect the way people see you and your brand.
We had the drinking partner, we had Ed and Day in here for our last episode. And, one of the funny things, and I'm not sure if it made it to the final cut of the show or not offhand, but, everybody said, pay your people. Everybody's like, pay for quality. Like, they're sitting there. And I mean, they started in comedy 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, in comedy terms, they're still very early in their careers, right? And they're like, okay, well, why are you on this great trajectory now? Like, you got to have a team and you got to pay your people, and I mean, nobody knew who they were a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, whenever they were just getting those first tentative steps out there. And now it's like they're running a calendar where they're trying to make sure they don't accidentally double book, right? Yeah. These brands are naming beers after them and things. And like, well, what changed, right? Right media, right tech, and then you the commitment to quality. I mean, I definitely think there's a track record of success if you stack those things up correctly. The technologies that this generation is using, plus a commitment to quality.
Yeah.
I know the pitch. Okay. I think it probably, I don't know. It's early yet, right?
Yeah, I feel like I'm still shaping it. You know, I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
But I promise you, sooner than later, I will.
I don't know. We're doing it now. We'll do it live.
Okay.
All right. We had to give one out for Billo there. So obviously, you hit on something big when you said that, you've got these older sort of business owner, executive types, right? That are trying to reach into a generation they don't understand. This is a traditional behavior. They hire a consultant because they don't understand it, and they don't see the value in learning it. They see the value in paying somebody who already knows it, right? So that's a big element of it. I would probably borrow from that. So you have a lawyer, you have an accountant.
Yes.
You have a healthcare consultant, maybe for your health insurance, right? I'm that for this market you haven't yet been able to unlock.
Yeah.
In a lot of startup pitches, you hear somebody say, "I am blank for blank," right? Yeah. I am eBay for rental properties. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
And that's how you end up with like apartment.com or anything like that. We're like, okay, it's online listings, but rather than saying online listings, they say, oh, it's this for that, right?
Yeah.
Grubhub, it's Uber for food, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, someone will bring you food from a restaurant that doesn't typically deliver.
I love Grubhub. I'd love to work for that.
With them. We'll tag them in some social, and maybe they'll respond, right?
Anytime. I love food.
I am more than happy to be paid in empanadas.
Oh my God, yes. Double wide seitan wings, please.
Oh, Double Wide Grill. I was just there last night. Seriously.
So good.
I can't believe you said that. I was literally just at Double Wide last night. So I like, I'm the consultant for this thing, but I like backing up rather than just leaving that one sentence. You already have consultants for some other things in your business. You have a lawyer, you have an accountant, you have maybe someone that helps you with insurance. Just think of me as the person that helps your more established staff market to people that are younger and aren't on the same wavelength as the people that are writing your strategy. So I'm a bolt-on, I'm an add-on.
Yeah.
I think the video piece, it might be funny to show some of the worse videos. Like, I mean, if somebody puts it on YouTube, I kind of feel like it's fair game. And then as soon as I have that thought, I feel really guilty for having it.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
I think if you put it on YouTube and you're like, man, this is awesome, like, it is fair game.
I mean, I'm an essential dignity of man person, right? And I'm sitting here going like, just because you humiliated yourself doesn't mean that I have to help. But if I'm trying to show people how bad a bad video can hurt your brand, I don't know if there's a better treasure trove to go to. When you see a bad video, you're browsing YouTube. Let's assume like we're going to create like the America's Funniest promotional videos, right? This is kind of where my head's at.
Yeah.
Because if I'm you and I want to do low-cost guerrilla type marketing and I want to get people talking about what? Quail? Nurseral? I don't know what we're going to call it.
Quail.
If we're calling it quail right now, but I'm going to feel bad when you change it later. So we'll call it for right now, as yet unnamed consulting firm X. And we'll just shorten it to X.
Like American Psycho X, the consulting firm,
sort
of.
Wow. No, we got to get out of that alley we just accidentally drove down. But if I were trying to do a guerrilla marketing campaign for that, I would do America's Funniest promotional videos. I would do America's Funniest, unintentionally funniest, I should say, promotional videos, and I'd pull them out. But I'm curious where your head's at. What would you be looking for? I'm figuring bad lighting is a pretty frequent problem that people have. No script, no actor.
Yeah.
What else am I missing? Bad sound.
Poor video quality. I mean, you can tell if something's being shot on something shoddy, essentially, if
shot
like
on their
your
phone.
nephew.
I mean, let's call it what it is. They always shoot on their phone.
Oh, yeah. Or
they always do podcasts on their phone, too. That's why it's a peeve.
Yeah. Or even laptop cameras, iPad cameras, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just not good. So I look for video quality.
It's always, the plot has to be convoluted, right?
Yeah.
Like mixed messages and metaphors are great for this.
Yes.
Where somebody takes like two completely different metaphors and smashes them into each other and doesn't even understand that like their message makes no sense.
Yeah.
Scripting, copywriting, that sort of thing. That we got to be looking for.
And I think too, it's sometimes choice of talent who you're using. So I think you kind of touched on that by saying talent, but I always find it's
well, everybody wants to be in their own commercial because it's cheaper.
And, you know, a lot of times I think CEOs and presidents and whomever else want to be in the commercial because they're the CEO or they're the president. But like maybe they're not always the best choice, you know, as the face.
And maybe it's just the circles I run in. The CEOs and presidents and whatnot that I talk to and never want to be in the ad.
Really? I always have that where they want to be tossed in, or their wife, or like maybe their kid.
The kid one I've seen.
The kid's like okay, and the wife, you know, sometimes like they have a babe of a wife who works out really well on camera, but like a lot of times these guys, and then they want to have everything scripted.
Are you really playing the trophy wife card right now? Is that where we're at?
Hey, you know, sometimes
like the victory
they work
lap,
out.
the commercial as victory lap is horrible.
No better way to show your wife off. Let me tell you.
See what I did? See that? She comes to my house at night. Yeah, that's terrible.
Like $30,000 to just run that all over TV.
Yeah, that's terrible. It's like the conspicuous consumption sports car. But like I bought an ad and put my hot wife in it, and you're all jealous now.
Yeah.
Oh God,
there
that's
you go.
terrible. God save us from that fate. Anyway, yeah, the talent. I have a show. You may have noticed.
Yeah.
I would never do my own ads.
Yeah.
Like
your smiling face.
people tell me that I have a pretty good voice.
Yeah.
Right. I hate being photographed. So let's assume that it's just a radio ad. I still wouldn't do my own ads.
Yeah.
Or when you watch them reading, anybody you can see their eyes moving across the cue card or the prompter, nope, you're done.
That's why, like, from my experience in reality TV, I almost really always try to avoid scripting things out for folks because, especially if they're a normal person, it's one thing if you're paying an actor who's used to doing that sort of stuff and they got it. But if you're paying a normal person and then you have a prompter up and they're trying to read, or you're holding a giant cue card and they're trying to read, they're gonna look so bad.
You got to tell me about reality TV now. Hang on a second.
Yeah.
Whoa. Because you actually just combined two words or two terms that are probably not intended to typically lie next to each other, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, reality TV. And you're like, I try not to script it too much.
Yeah.
Did you accidentally let something slip there?
No, for like commercials, I'm saying.
All
so like
right.
for reality, I think it's different because a lot of reality TV shows, right? A lot of it is pretty real, but a lot of it is guided, I will say.
Guided.
So I won't, disclose like any shows or anything like that. But I can tell you that in my career, I have definitely worked with talent on these shows where you know what you want. You want him to fight with his girlfriend. And so as a producer, you're interviewing them on camera and you're asking them questions like, oh, don't you think that she's kind of being really crappy to you today? Tell me how you feel about that. And it gets them angry. And then if that doesn't work, you always have, when the cameras turn off, you can always say, listen, I know you're annoyed with us sitting in your hotel room right now. So here's the deal. If you go over and you fight with her for like 20 minutes and you make it really good, we'll leave you guys alone the rest of the night and you can go to the Cheesecake Factory in peace. And like people will do
Fuzzy,
that.
Are you hearing this? There's no Santa Claus. My God.
So much of it is real, but
My
there are
innocence
definitely
is lost. This is terrible.
Yeah.
How am I ever going to watch the Kardashians ever again?
Oh my gosh.
I can't actually.
They're my favorite.
Point of fact, I've never seen them.
I would seriously, if I have one day producing on the Kardashians, it would be like a dream come true because I can only imagine how they're so used to it.
Yeah.
I think it would be really, because I think a lot of what you're banking on as a reality TV producer is all these people have really never been on camera and they have no idea what they're doing.
Yes.
And so you can kind of take advantage of that, sadly. But people like the Kardashians, they've been on TV for decades, or a decade or more at least now. And so you can literally try what you want, but I'm assuming that those girls know. They know all the tricks.
You're a little bit evil, aren't you, Crystal?
Yeah, it's sometimes I do feel like I do these really good charity things to like cleanse my soul a little bit.
So the clients that you're working right now, what are they looking like? How did you get them? Let's try to find a way to replicate that.
Yeah.
How did you end up with those 3 clients?
So one of them I actually met at an event, just at one of the events I was networking at. I like to walk around the room, talk to folks.
You've always been strong at that.
Thanks. And so I walked up and I was talking to her and, we got along. My big thing is to just bond with them personally. I don't like to be, because I know I hate it when folks come up to me and they're like, hey, I'm so-and-so and I'm going to sell this to you. And okay, great. Like, here's all the information. Great. Bye. And so I try to like go up and like see folks who I think I could bond with a little bit and like chat with them and just start a relationship with them.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of happened with my one client. The other, we were just going to their brewery, my husband and I, going to this brewery for a long time, and it was in someone's garage, literally, and
Nice.
they've started to get bigger. And so I hit them up and I was like, hey, I noticed you guys are getting bigger and you need some help. And I love what you're doing. I'm passionate about the product. I've met you guys. You know who I am. Let's get together
Let's
and
make something happen.
Yeah, and oftentimes when I first meet with these people, like they haven't even signed with me, they're not working with me yet, but I'll offer them a little bit of free like consultation of what I think of their current marketing stuff as it is right there.
Yeah.
Because I want them to know that like I'm not just there to close the deal. I really am there because I care about their brand and I want to help them be better. And so even if they don't sign with me, I pray that maybe they take a little bit of what I say to heart that first time.
Right. What I heard you say is that you've got these first degree connections. You planted seeds over the years networking, right? I mean, again, you worked those rooms hard. And I gave you credit for that when you first came onto the show. I said, you know what, I've run into you at like every local networking event that's ever happened, right? So, and I think you've heard the expression, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today.
Yeah.
So you planted a bunch of trees a long time ago, and some of them are actually starting to sprout for you. And that's not luck. It's just you put the work in and you can still yield that. And it didn't belong to anybody but you. They remember you. They don't even remember what company you were working for. They just remember your face and your approach and, maybe like some conversation that you had with them in one of those rooms and that sort of a thing. So yeah, just definitely keeping your feet moving is definitely paying off.
I think too, it's a lot for me about people liking me. Like, not that I'm super likable.
You're
and
evil.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
but,
everybody loves the villain. You already said, right?
There you go. And so I think a lot of where my successes come from is these folks just generally like me because I generally like them and care about them and think of them as like a friend,
Right.
Or even just, somebody that I want to touch base with, I want to talk to. And people, I think they sense that. So that's where I think a lot of my good luck has come from.
I think also you're very transparent, right? And I've always been told the same about myself. Like, I'm an open book, right?
That's why we like each other so much.
Well, there's something like that for real. I mean, when you don't have to worry about whether or not the story you're getting is the real story,
Yeah.
It makes it a little bit easier because there's good and there's bad, right?
Yeah.
And it's like you're hearing what I am, and it's not always the most perfectly polished character. It's not always the thing that I would have maybe put onto a billboard. But
Yeah.
you can hear me just stream of consciousness sort of tell you where my head is at. And you're like, okay, well, he may not be perfect, but at least he's telling me the truth.
Yeah.
Right? And I think you probably get some of that as well.
Yeah.
What are you afraid of?
I'm afraid of not succeeding. I know that's probably what everybody's afraid of.
Yeah.
But
It comes in a lot of forms.
for me, I see that as I'm really passionate about this, right? I love it. And I feel like I have a lot to prove because I'm young and I'm, relatively new to the advertising scene in Pittsburgh. And I feel like I have a lot to prove because I have a lot of friends in the ad industry who own their own companies. And I feel like they're all watching right now. And so many of them have been really supportive.
I remember this feeling. The idea that I'm stepping into the spotlight.
Yeah.
Right. That's self-destruction. Don't even give that a second thought.
Okay.
Take it from an old man. I'm telling you for real.
You're not that old.
I'm old enough. No one cares.
Okay.
They don't.
Yeah. Because that's my fear is I don't care about myself so much, but I hate letting others down. And so I feel like if all these people are rooting for me and I have these clients, like my biggest fear is like not succeeding and letting people down that we're like.
Not succeeding would be not doing.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of people tell me this. I almost double as a therapist in this regard, right? Because a lot of people tell me the same thing, right? They say, I don't want to call too much attention to myself in case I fail.
Yeah.
Right. And what you said isn't the exact same thing, but it's in the neighborhood of that same thing where it's like, well, I don't know if I want to call that much attention to myself by putting out my shingle and changing my LinkedIn and, pushing out a bunch of tweets and Facebook posts and whatever, because I'm bringing all this attention. And what happens if I fall on my face? And the answer is nothing. Nothing happens.
Yeah.
Nothing useful happens. Nothing unuseful happens. Just nothing happens. And unuseful is not a word. But a lot of people pull the punch.
Yeah.
They don't commit because they're afraid of the failure in the spotlight.
Yeah.
And like I said, the spotlight, first of all, is not on you.
Yeah.
Okay. No disrespect intended. There's no spotlight.
I need to hear that.
In your heart, there is.
Yeah.
Like you're feeling like, oh my God, everyone's watching.
Yeah.
Everyone's busy. That's why you have a job, is you have to cut through the noise level of everything that's trying to intrude into their headspace.
Yeah.
Right? You're safe. You've never been safer because there's nothing like the anonymity of a business that isn't on everybody's lips.
Yeah.
Right? If you fail, it won't be on the front page. Your friends will tell you, I'm glad you tried.
Yeah.
Right? It's all good. Right? As long as you don't step on anybody, hurt anybody, whatever, no matter what happens, your friends are going to come back to you and be like, hey, I'm really glad you tried that. Or what did you learn from the experience? Because I'm thinking about doing my own thing. Maybe you can help me with mine. You just have to start doing.
Yeah.
But a lot of people wait until they're my age. I'm going to be 40, right? And they're like, well, if I don't start now, I guess I never will.
Yeah.
And it's like you've lost 10 years of ramp.
Yeah.
But again, you know, from where you're at, your positioning's perfect.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
What you're trying to do, you have expertise in. There's a track record there. I hear you're working with HGTV on something.
I am.
I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it. Yeah.
You can say that. I
That's
can't
as far
say
as
the
I can
show
go?
right now,
No,
but
that's cool.
I'm super excited. You know,
I noticed, like, I asked you who are your 3 clients, and you're like, you told me 2 of them, and then you stopped short. I was like, I know who the 3rd one is. I just don't know if I'm pushing my luck by talking about it.
Yeah.
So,
it's okay.
yeah, there's all kinds of momentum behind this right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think the sky's the limit, right? I think that, like, right now I'm in this really awesome place where, you know, I'm on this show and I'm going to be on it until the fall. And that's wonderful. And I have, you know, guaranteed that on my radar. Plus my other clients. And a lot of those are folks I want to work with. I'm happy working with that. To me, it's fun. Like when I go home at night and I'm done with my stuff for this show, I'm excited to go and work on these clients' work because I believe in it and I enjoy it.
So I hope this was at least useful to you in terms of sort of getting your thoughts together. I know you're really early in the process, but you know, you weren't on that long ago. I mean, what were you, the 20th episode, 21st episode?
I think, in that range. So
yeah, so I mean, it wasn't that long ago.
I feel like
this
I'm a
is gonna
whole
be
new
32.
person, though. Like, I feel like I'm a whole new person you're talking to now.
I'm glad.
I am too.
I hope it sorts out. If there's anything I can do for you, let me know.
No, you've been.
Oh wait, hang on. How do people get a hold of you? That's what I could do for you. Let's find out how people can reach out to Crystal in the new, as yet unnamed consulting firm X.
Okay. You could email me at knerschel@gmail.com.
There it is. Crystal Nerschel, thanks for being back on the Pitchworks podcast.
Thanks for having me.
All right, that's all the time we've got this week. Thanks to Crystal for coming back in. All the best to her. Make sure you reach out to her if you need anything in terms of, you know, the video production and the ad buys and whatnot. Working with millennials. Really glad that she decided, you know, to take the bull by the horns and actually start working on exactly the projects she wanted. And honestly, very proud of her nailing the HGTV folks as one of her first clients. That's fantastic. So don't forget to register for Getting Started in Sales up in Cranberry. Just go to the website, pitchworks.com for that. And other than that, we'll just catch you next week. In about 7 days, we'll have another show for you. Take care of yourself in the meantime.
The Pitchworks podcast comes to you from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a production of the Epicast Network and McTaggart, LLC. Engineering and production by Buzzy Torek and Nick Miller. For more information, show feedback, and ad sales, visit pitchworks.com. pitchwerks.com. On social media, find and follow the show on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram using that same brand name, pitchwerks.